Okay, we are back again with Grazel Garcia, and today we are talking about what betrayal actually does to a relationship. Um, Grazel, I know one of your key approaches is a trauma-informed approach. So, from that perspective, what actually happens to a relationship after a betrayal, and why is rebuilding trust in those situations so complicated?
Yes, thanks for bringing this topic up. I think betrayal is so painful for many of us, if not all. So when betrayal is part of the emotional disconnection, then you know that the trust have eroded completely.
Mhm.
So it makes it a lot harder to rebuild trust when there's no repair involved in the process.
Yeah, and I guess it's the broken trust that's the most difficult bit to repair because you can and give the example of infidelity, for example, you can logically think, okay, I forgive this person, it's all okay. But if that trust isn't there, there's a difficult path forward. Why does betrayal impact people so deeply, even when in their head they're like, I'm fine, I can move forwards?
It's a great question. How do partners feel so deeply pained by the betrayal, even though in their mind they want to move forward? Um, I think understanding the mind and body connection and the heart connection is so important to this. I think our heart can be pain, but then our brains can say, yeah, forget about it, move on, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes our brain is needing, our mind is needing to do that because the pain of betrayal is so overwhelming that we can't sit in the pain of that if we don't have the partner who betrayed us understand the impact of what they've done. So it makes sense that the partner that was hurt and injured by the betrayal is going to say, "Yeah, I'm fine. I want to move on. I forgive you." It's an easy way out. But
Yeah,
does it necessarily mean that's repair? Absolutely not.
and I think it's really interesting that there's a difference between what you think and what you feel, and there's a like neuroscientific reason for that because you've got different systems in your body. You've got your like mammalian brain, which is governed by emotion, and then you've got your kind of human layer on top, which is all about logic. And the two systems sometimes don't talk very well to each other. So you
Hmm.
get that kind of logical,
Right.
I want to move forward, but there's something emotionally holding me back that I just can't quite grab hold of. Um,
Hmm.
and this is maybe where there's a discrepancy again between things like forgiveness and repair. So what what misunderstandings do people typically come to you with when there's been infidelity and they think they've forgiven it, but they can't repair, or vice versa? They're trying to repair without forgiveness.
Gosh, I mean, there's so many layers of betrayal, and sometimes it's relative. It can be as small as, uh, maybe a beginning pattern of not remembering what's important to the other partner that feels really, really special for them. Like it could be a death of their parent, and let's say their partner didn't remember that day, and it's continuous. That can feel really painful.
Mm-hmm.
Other partners go in because there's been infidelity. Other couples come in because there's been lies around gambling or finances. It could be anything.
Mm. Yeah, and when you've got such a you deal with such a wide range of stuff, I imagine with each of these things, and obviously everyone's individual, everyone's going to heal at a different rate. And if you're the person who has been the bad guy, say, um, you're going to heal at a different rate to the person who's been hurt. And even though you've got your own stuff going on that needs healing as well, so how does that dynamic create secondary conflicts?
So let's look at the couple who struggles with betrayal in a way that maybe will make more sense. As a therapist, I'm looking at who actually was the person that engaged in the betrayal. So let's say that's the um, injurer. let's name them as an injurer, and then the
Hmm.
other partner is the injured partner. Um, they will have different layers of how they perceive healing looks like
Hmm.
and what that looks like for them, and how can they create secondary conflict is by telling the other person that this is the healing that they need, and the other person is not receiving that because the other person has a different way of viewing what healing looks like.
Hmm.
So that's a pretty disconnected approach. You can see that in my explanation of how they're missing each other based on how they view healing and repair.
Hmm.
When a couple gets stuck there, they're not actually talking about what they're not talking about the betrayal and the pain of that. They're just demanding for repair versus processing the pain
Mm.
that leads to an actual repair.
And it's pretty scary to go to those places sometimes because you're going to have to confront some things about yourself and about the other person that you maybe don't want to talk about. Um, what type of things do you notice in like clinically? How can you tell how like which couples are going to be successful at rebuilding that trust and which ones aren't? I guess that's my question.
Commitment is so important. Commitment
Mm-hmm.
and the partner's ability to regulate the pain are the
Mm-hmm.
two main keys to success. If they're not committed to making it work, then it's going to be very hard to help them
Mm-hmm.
um, come together and repair. If the level of regulation for each partner is different, then it can take a while. Because then,
Mm-hmm.
as a therapist, I have to make sure that I'm meeting each person where they're at in their window of tolerance. So, if one partner's window of tolerance to pain is a lot higher than the other, then I have to cater my treatment based on where each partner is at. So maybe I'll have to increase the tolerance of the other partner in order to meet the other one so that there's repair that's more aligned to where they're at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Because as I say, everyone's different, and it's you always got to take a tailored approach to these things. Clearly, yeah, I think maybe we'll just leave it there. Maybe we can talk about this a bit more in another video at some point. Thanks so much for your time.
Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in betrayal. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's okay.